Teach your puppy some simple movements. Many people like to keep pets, whether raising dogs, cats, or other animals. If they know how to do some basic movements, it can bring a lot of joy to the owner. At the same time, knowing some basic actions also contributes to ensuring dog safety in some cases. Training the initial basic movements for dogs is very important in order to train the dog to be highly disciplined. Limit wild behavior. Train dogs physically. Let dogs exercise and expand their muscles. Balanced development, flexibility, courage, and perseverance. Training basic dog movements as a basis for the dog increases the close relationship between owner and dog. Initial training requires a discipline chain to be worn around the dog's neck to help the dog learn the lesson faster. Normally, dogs from 6 months old can start practicing basic movements. During the training process, it is forbidden to beat the dog. Sitting is the first basic skill that needs to be trained. This is a very important skill, a bridge to learning other skills. For example, if a dog knows how to sit, it will learn to lie down very quickly. When you teach it to sit, it is necessary to choose a time when it is calm and relaxed. When it begins to show signs of insecurity and impatience, it must be stopped immediately. Some methods to train dogs to sit. Method 1. Have your dog stand on your left, holding the dog's collar in your right hand. When pulling up, left hand pushes down on the dog's butt and shouts the command, sit. When the dog sits, reward with food and petting to encourage the dog to complete the movement. Method 2. Let the dog stand in front. Hold the reins with the left hand and pull the dog's neck up. Hold the stimulating piece of meat in the right hand and shout the command, sit. When the dog wants to eat meat, it will sit down. Please reward it with food and practice many times like that until the dog listens to the command to sit on its own. That's it. Method 3. Every day when feeding your dog, you hold the rice bowl high. Dogs that want to eat will jump up and down continuously. The hind legs bear the weight of the whole body, causing the buttocks to touch the ground and want to sit. Then take the opportunity to shout the sit command combined with the hand signal raised across the dog's face. When the dog sits, reward and lower the rice bowl for the dog to eat immediately. Method 4. After letting the dog go for a walk, call the dog back, pat the dog's chest with your right hand, and press the dog's butt down with your left hand. With your right hand, push the dog's chest up and shout the command, sit, and the dog will sit down on its own. During the process of learning the sitting movement, the dog may make some mistakes. You need to promptly correct it. Some dogs sit with their butts crooked or their hind legs sticking out incorrectly and need to be corrected to avoid this bad habit. Use your left foot to gently push the dog's paw in, or use the tip of your big toe to press on the dog's paw. It will shrink. For dogs that are locked, you can let the dog sit close to the wall to your left. Due to the wall, the dog does not sit with its butt hanging out or its legs sticking out. Gradually, the dog develops the habit of sitting correctly. There are cases where dogs are scared, often sitting far away or looking away with a submissive attitude. You need to promptly reward and feed it. Use gentle commands. Avoid forcing the dog or beating it. After training your dog to sit, You can train it to lie down. This is also a pretty important skill. When guests come to your house to visit, you don't want your puppy to bother them, so you tell them to lie down. This movement is easier than sitting, but first you have to ask him to sit down first and then ask him to lie down. Once again, the food plate was used. First, command the dog to sit down, then let him look at the food plate. When its eyes have looked at the plate of food, place the plate on the ground in front of it. The dog will follow it with its nose and lie down. The moment it lay down on the ground, it shouted loudly, "Lie down." In addition, there are several other methods to train your dog to lie down. Method 1. You kneel down. Let the dog sit on your left side. Hold the dog's collar in your left hand, and hold the meat in your right hand for the dog to see. Lower your hands to the ground in front of the dog while shouting the command, "Lie down." If the dog lies down, reward it with meat and praise good. Wait a moment, then hold the rope with your left hand and gently pull the dog's neck up, commanding the dog to sit. Then continue practicing many times like that. Method 2. You let the dog sit next to you. Then you kneel down, hold the dog's collar with your left hand and put your elbow on the dog's back with your right hand. Hold the dog's front legs and slowly pull it down and shout the command, "Lie down." Because the dog's back is pressed down on the pulled leg, the dog will lie down, at which point you must reward it immediately, then practice over and over again. Method 2. You let the dog sit in front of you. You can bend or squat. The left hand holds the reins. The right hand holds the meat to attract the dog. When the dog leans out to get the meat to eat, slowly lie down. You must promptly shout the command, "Lie down," and reward it with meat to eat. Then command the dog to sit and continue training until the dog absorbs the movements. Teach your dog how to stand. If a dog can sit, it can also stand. Most small dogs can easily learn this move, but you will feel interesting when you see the big dog stand up. Hold the food dish higher than your dog's head. At that time, it will gradually stand up. The moment it stands up, shout "Stand" loudly, just once. Practice it over and over again until it's done well. Teach your dog how to raise its paw. When training this movement, use a chain to tie its neck, then point to a chair, a table, or a crate. Say, "Put your foot in here." At that time, it might jump up and down. If it does so, use a chain to pull it down. Help it put its front leg up, and at the same time command it, "Stay still." If he puts his front paws on top of the box and then sits down, he needs to be taught the correct posture. When it does well, you praise it, "Very good," then reward it with food. In the voice command, add the word "box" to command it to put its feet on the box. Then you can practice with other objects and revise the command. For example, put your feet on the bed chair, table, etc. Soon it will be possible to distinguish these objects. Teach your dog how to close the door. When you feel cold, you can ask your dog to close the door for you. When practicing this exercise, you still use a food plate. Hang the food on the door, then take the dog inside. First, you command it to sit down, so it doesn't run back to grab food. Then, say loudly, "Close the door," and let your dog grab the food. When it grabs a food, and if the door is closed, then you praise it and give it a treat. If it doesn't close the door yet, you need to be patient. If it gets angry, rest for a while and then practice again. When training your dog, in addition to using voice commands, you can also use hand signals to help the dog understand your intentions better.